Techno Touch on Newsbreak.
This week, Newsbreak profiles someone who literally has it at her fingertips. 29-year-old Candice Potgieter is the CEO of the KZN Science Centre and is not only the youngest person to hold this title in the country, but also only one of two women. Far from being a nerd, she's a bubbly person and always thinking of innovative ways to spread the word that science and technology can be fun. Her efforts have not gone unrecognized. She recently received the Future Leaders Young Award from the Department of Economic Development in the Science Innovative category and has been named among the 200 most influential young South Africans by the Mail and Guardian newspaper. Newsbreak's Jagjivan found out exactly what makes her tick.
So we grew up in a world where it was taking cardboard boxes and rolling down banks. It was all about the environment and animals and, finding out what went into science. For example, when you milk a cow kind of thing. And my mom and dad were very interested in showing us this.
And that's how the seeds to discover, explore and find out how exactly things work was sown for Candice Potgieter. She pursued her Bachelor of Science Honours degree in Applied Physics at the University of KwaZulu-Natal and in 2007 took up her first job.
My first job was actually at the Science Centre. I started off right at the bottom as an education officer, where I went out in the field with our schools. I worked on projects such as National Science Week. Actually, prior to that, I did have a part-time job all through university, where I taught teachers how to use computers in schools, as well as computer programs that showed physical concepts. For example, Newton's laws. And so I think that coming to the Science Centre, it was a natural fit for me at the time, and I think it's just been a really great place to grow.
6 years later, now as the CEO, she's proud to have revamped the exhibits and enticed more young people to visit the centre every year.
So here we can see the saxophone, which shows that sound travels through a medium, and the medium here is obviously the tube that you hit. So it makes a vibrating sound, and that's how sound is created. I think that I understand the ins and outs of what we do and how we can grow, because over those 6 years, we are not only a science center now. We actually see close to 110,000 people. We used to see about 40,000 people. We go out to schools, we do teacher training, early childhood development, restoring science labs and equipment to schools.
Candice talks often about the aha moment, that point where learners are fascinated about discovering how things work. And she says that moment happens often at the centre, away from the confines of a classroom.
When kids come here, they see that science is real. It's not just something that's from a textbook or something they just learn in school and they have to know and write an exam about it. I think they see the real life example, how they can pursue their career in science. So I think it gives them an opportunity that they might not have elsewhere, especially in schools, because I think that our educators have a hard time in schools. I think it's, you're dealing with large classrooms, you're dealing with a lack of science equipment.
As a non-profit organization, the KZN Science Centre in Umhlanga, north of Durban, seeks sponsorships to be able to carry out their work. That includes adopting specific schools and learners so that they can one day be employed in the fields of science and technology. Potgieter says it's all in a day's work for her and truly warms her heart.
And we see those kids grow over those years, and we also then see them go to university to pursue some sort of career in science. So for me, I think that I have great delight in that, especially because when I'm out in the field, they just see me walking around saying, oh, how's everything going, especially when I make my visits to the rural schools. And then to see those kids one day when they make a difference and saying, I actually went to the Science Centre and I remember you and I didn't know that you were in this position. That brings a lot of joy to me.
And walking through the KZN Science Centre with Candice, her love for encouraging children to explore the many gadgets around them is clearly evident.
Yes, I like it so much.
As a woman and a member of the committee that advises the MEC of Education on career guidance in schools, Candice is passionate about getting more female learners to study science and technology. It's a step that she says must begin at home.
When I grew up, my parents said I could do anything I wanted to. So it wasn't that you could do anything that a girl wanted to. You could do anything that a person wanted to. And I think that we need to instill those values in our female learners and actually in our female children. And then only can we get those kids involved in science and actually making a difference. Because that women have such a good nurturing and caring ability. So I think for our country, they can nurture the future scientists, but also nurture the future science of our country.
And that was CEO of the KZN Science Centre, Candice Potgieter, ending that report by Maya Jagjivan.